Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Mozingo here to talk a little bit about coil pottery. And my classes have been learning about kind of the origins of ceramics. Ceramics have been around for about 40,000 years. A lot of the origins begin in China. But we've been talking a lot about functional and decorative pottery. And then we've been actually prepping for a special, this is today, we started to work on some practice coils in preparation for a vessel that they're going to be making with coils. So each kid got, one of my students got tiles that rolled out with my clay slab roller. And then we just talked about the basics of how to create a really workable coil. So we've been learning about starting with nice even pressure, the subtractive. So when we subtract or take away clay, additive is when we put it together, the basics of hand building. So I've got one of my coils right here. And so we've talked about using a variety of different coil methods, including there's a spiral. I'm going to look in my clay bin for a gorgeous little needle tool. So whenever we add clay to clay, we do something called score, slip, and seal. So on this practice tile, again, I showed students in class a variety of different sorts of coils, including spiral. So if I were to add this to my tile, okay, there's my score. I'm going to add a little bit of slip, clay and water mixture that acts like a clay glue. I'm going to put that down. The last step whenever we add clay to clay is something called seal. And this is sealing, when we seal the edges to make sure it really stays on there. Okay, so some of the students have done the spiral, some have done kind of the double twist. These are vertical. So there have been many, or vertical, I should say like this. Some students have learned how to twist two different coils at once. We talked about the durability of clay. If anything is skinnier than your pinky, okay, it tends to break very easily. So for example, if I show you this one, okay, and I'm going to use my needle tool to trim part of the clay right here. But if I crimp these two together, and whenever we see clay starting to break apart, we can just add a little bit of slip. That'll help seal it together. Okay, so there's my twist. So if I add this together, score, slip, seal, I can put this on to part of the corner of my work as well. Now, here's the beautiful part about this. If I put the score marks right here, if I put my score marks right here, I've got score marks right here. Thank you. I'm going to put a little bit of slip right here, slip and slip. And I'm going to blend the edges right here. Okay, but the cool part about this, and students really understood, taking time to practice the coil method was really important before they made their final vessel. So here's some student work right here. This student did a fantastic job really filling their space. We talked about it was okay to actually carve away part of the border if they wanted to make all of their coils fit in there. But I see a variety of like an S, I see the spiral, I see vertical, and just a single coil. There are all kinds of things that kids could do, but really it was about learning about the history of ceramics, starting in China 40,000 years ago, and getting their hands moving and practicing before we do our vessel. So there we are with coil practice, and we'll see you soon for the final vessel. Take care. Hope you get clazy.